Hey everyone, Jacob here from That Time We Woke Up in a Podcast and Had to Explain Manga, our heated adventures over analyzing manga we find interesting, aka the Over Manga Cast. This week we're serving up Crazy Food Truck by Rokurou Ogaki. It's quite a trip, so come along with us and enjoy the ride.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Over Manga Cast. My name is Sam, and as always, here at the top of the show, we talk about what our familiarity with the property we read this week is. As for me, I kept correlating this with Odd Taxi in my brain, and that's really about it. Other than that, I had no idea what this was. So,
What?
Odd Taxi? Crazy Food Truck?
Vehicles.
Are you confusing it with the Sega game Crazy Taxi?
No.
Okay, jeez.
No. Anyway, Jacob, how about you?
What's Crazy Food Truck?
Okay.
What's so crazy about it?
Well, we learned that.
That's objectively untrue, Jacob.
No, I'm asking the question. It's not rhetorical.
It's got a gun.
It becomes crazy.
Yes. Anyway, Matt, how about you?
So I was real interested in this when the first volume came out. And that kept my interest long enough to read the second volume when it came out. And I never actually did get around to reading volume 3 until we did it for this podcast. So this was a good excuse for me to clean up the reading of this.
All right, and Jay.
Hadn't heard of it before. This is first time.
So, with that, we can dive right into our story with the classic immortal opening page of Makin' Bacon.
Making bacon.
Crispy, crispy bacon, bacon, bacon.
Look, we start off with our main character, Gordon Goliath, and this man channels Jake the dog, and that he has a different song for every meal he prepares.
Love this guy's vibe. I mean, I love food manga. I love food anime. This is great. Off to a good start here.
Everything about Gordon is a total mood. To start off with, his name is Gordon Goliath.
He
Yeah,
knows what's up.
Like, he's the coolest guy. Just off of that.
The coolest.
And then he's this tough-looking middle-aged dude with the big bushy black mustache and the bandana and the Hawaiian shirt, and you're like, yeah, now this guy's cool as hell.
Yes, he very much gives vibes of chill dude. He also gives very relatable vibes of like retiree who is pursuing his life dream.
Yeah, I was about to say, they
Mhm.
say middle-aged a lot. Gordon here is pushing the tail end of middle-age. He's late 40s at best.
Yeah.
Like, this man has strong grandpa vibes. Like, he's got gray hair. His mustache is the only, like...
Colored hair on his body
Yeah,
Oh yeah, that we know of.
that we know of.
well...
Well,
But so he goes and makes a whole bunch of BLT sandwiches and is all right, food truck open for business. I'm in
is
the middle
a-
of the desert.
it is a barren desert with no life anywhere around it, as far as the eye can see.
I mean, Gordon, not to tell you how to run your business. Typically, food trucks don't just start making a whole bunch of sandwiches to go. Like, you keep the ingredients ready, but, like, you wait until it's ordered to put them together. Unless you're in the middle of a rush, but, like, that's clearly not what your business is, bud.
Look,
kind of
throughout the-
pondered if this was some kind of inside joke because very obviously, yes, he's in the middle of a desert. There is nary a soul to be found. Usually, if there's a non-contracted food cart or a food truck that will go to events or venues or whatever, they usually will go to wherever everyone seems to gather or just set up shop there. So it almost seems like an attempt at humor or an attempt at perhaps really showing, I don't want to say the dichotomy between, this is just what we would associate with day-to-day life for a retiree's aspiring dream. And then there's just desolate desert for as far as the eye can see.
Oh, no, I think the actual thing is Gordon just likes cooking, even though there's not really a desire for people to eat.
the food truck itself is just an excuse. he's not super invested in the idea of having customers. Like, he'll talk about it a lot, but ultimately, he just likes making food.
In large quantities. So it'd be very awkward if he just made large quantities of food in a house or something. And we'll get into that later. Obviously, he is not somebody who could possibly get away with having a stationary residence anywhere.
Yep, because as he's driving down the road, listening to the radio and the and the mournful love song about, oh God, I just want some water, please. I live in a desert hellscape. Ah.
It is a love song, and it's just like, I love you, baby. And then you find out the guy is just talking about water. I need you.
I literally need you to survive.
Man, this manga loves telling you how there's a water scarcity problem while then showing you water every other.
Look,
we need water to cook.
Yeah.
That's how it goes.
We have him driving down the road, and he sees something in the road that he has to swerve to avoid. It's a sleeping bag. And
like big, shiny, reflective, like it's one of those desert sleeping bags. Unfortunately, he almost runs over this baked potato.
And as he swerves out of the way, his beer, tragically, destroyed.
Or went out. Oh, wait, no. Don't.
Don't pour one out. We need that beer. But he goes to see what the big idea is. Who's this asshole sleeping in the road? I almost ran you over. Oh, it's a naked lady. Could have gotten worse out of the random gotcha.
Also, she has a teddy bear in here that is never seen again.
Never brought up again, yes.
So I assume they leave it on the side of the road.
Yes. We immediately are established to what will be this character's two defining traits going forward. She is naked and her stomach growls because she's hungry.
Hungry.
Very hungry.
She is always very hungry. So she wakes up to a BLT sandwich and almost before she's entirely awake starts devouring it to the point where she eats too quickly and starts choking.
I hate it when that happens.
Oh, there's a running gag of Gordon saying, "Hey, don't do that really dumb thing you're doing right now." She proceeds to ignore him, and then a "told you so" moment, usually involving her choking.
Also, the running theme of telling her to put on clothes and her going, "We are literally in a desert. No."
At that point, you put on clothes just to avoid the skin cancer. But you know what?
I don't think skin cancer is anyone's concern.
True. He steps out to give her some privacy to get dressed and also to collect some more ingredients. At which point she proceeds to not get dressed and instead eat everything in the food truck, including the soup that is currently cooking.
Yeah, she's got real strong, like, shonen protagonist personality going on right now. Like, doesn't really believe in clothes, eats a crap ton of food, and as we find out in, like, a few pages, incredibly strong.
Yeah, it's very original Dragon Ball Goku.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, actually.
I love the panel of Gordon coming back, seeing her sitting naked, covered in soup, like ladling it directly out of the pot. It's just like, so is it good? It's good. All right.
That's all I need.
So your mouth can do more than eat. And I'm like, wait a second, Gordon. Hold on.
Yes.
Yeah, this manga loves its innuendo.
It really does.
It's weird because it's not super ecchi. Other than Arisa being naked constantly, but like
runs into the same thing that when we read previously. Oh, well, it was a Zom 100 episode about the one guy who was constantly naked. I just felt throughout this, it just kind of, you become known as just that person who just strips all the time. It loses its appeal after like the first like 3, 4, 5 times. It's like, oh, you're naked again. Okay.
Yep. Well, Arisa's nude again. Well, here we are.
I mean, I think one thing that actually helps with that, like, it doesn't feel super ecchi element is that, like, Gordon's reaction from the first time it happens is, huh, that's weird. And he no-sells it. Yes.
It's literally, he's just like, hey, you should put clothes on. It's just better you do that. Yeah, he doesn't perv out at it, I guess, is really what helps sell the vibe of, no, Arisa's just weird.
Yeah.
As she continues to not listen to him, there's almost like a level of like disappointment. Like, again, really?
Are we still doing this? To eat your pancakes.
I do like the fact that pancakes have fresh cream, which
Mhm.
just creates so many questions in the world building. Oh, so water's rationed, but we just have unlimited cream. Man, I wonder if we have some kind of space station where we're rationed on how much air we can breathe, but we just make burgers.
Look, I don't think this manga particularly cares about the hard world building aspect. I think it more cares about the vibe.
Oh, no, 100%. This manga is not about being like a hard sci-fi or like it's not even really post-apocalyptic. It's just post-apocalyptic flavored on
Mhm.
top of, hey, let's have a cool road trip is really the vibe.
Yeah, this is all the lightest parts of Fallout.
Yeah, it was really chill vibes.
Yeah, we forgot to mention it's post-apocalyptic.
Yep.
You find that out vaguely in this chapter. It's kind of just loosely sprinkled until eventually someone just says, "The world has been a desert for 569 years." What an oddly specific number that I'm pretty sure is actually incorrect, but I'm not going to double check.
It's
Yeah,
like 500 plus
it's
years.
yeah, it's five. They specifically say 569. It really makes you wonder though. Does this mean that people continue to keep time? Like there was never a dark period immediately after. It was just like, oh well, I
Jay,
guess
Jay, you're overthinking this.
I'm just
I
saying
mean,
it's so specific, you know.
the information comes from a character who her like main trait is, being that like robotic encyclopedia type. So that's the reason the number is so specific.
Of all the people who would know this, it would be the weird little android girl.
We'll get there.
She's not actually an android, but
They are not
So-
actually androids. No.
Guys, we're getting ahead of ourselves.
we are getting ahead of ourselves. Right now we need to have the military pull over Gordon. And he's just like, "Afternoon, boys. You want some food from a food truck?" "No, we're looking for this girl." Shows a picture of Arisa. Never seen her before in my life.
Yep. And then in the most controversial panel in this entire manga, the guy at the checkpoint does say, "We're assuming she's 17 years old."
That they're assuming, like they internally are assuming.
They don't know for certain. That's what's weird about this panel. Because as we find out later, they should know exactly how old she is. But
Mhm.
it creates such weird ambiguity that this manga just goes like, "Yep, we're gonna roll steam ahead with this." So
She's about 17, probably.
Why 17 and why not like if you had to guess an age, maybe 18? They just wanted her to be a teenager, like an older teenager.
for my own comfort, I'm assuming she's 18. It makes the entire manga less creepy. Not much, but like
Enough.
More importantly, we have to deal with the fact that Arisa has sick kung fu moves
Yeah.
that's rad.
and murders the hell out of these guys. Or, well, she murders the hell out of one guy, gets a gun pulled on her by another, at which point Gordon is like, "I'm packing heat." Boom!
Because he also has a gun.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
And he also has sick kung fu moves, just not as flippy.
So it was at this point that I wasn't necessarily entirely shocked that Gordon had a gun because again, if we're working on post-apocalyptic, it's kind of like everyone has to defend themselves.
Mhm.
In this world where there is potentially like lawlessness and everything, Mad Max kind of thing.
Fallout.
Mhm.
Yeah.
This has strong New Vegas spot vibes. I'm not gonna lie. Kind of love it for it.
Same. I just really like the panel of Gordon standing there with the smoking gun that he just used to kill 2 men, and he's wearing his apron that has a little bunny on it.
I will say the art in this manga has this sort of like clean, simple style to it, yet with a good amount of detail. But the one thing that apparently this mangaka can't draw is someone holding a gun straight on towards the panel because the shape of it gets warped every time. I can't help but notice it.
I thought you were gonna say when Arisa eats too much and has like a little food pudge, because that also looks incredibly uncomfortable. But it's also always in super tiny panels. Like the mangaka was embarrassed he had to draw it and was just like, we're just not gonna show this ever again. He's like, I don't understand how to draw curves, but also curves.
I keep drawing her like this, and she keeps looking pregnant instead. You know what? Screw it. We're just gonna chibiify it.
It's a food baby.
It is a food baby.
Yes.
Yeah.
It turns out that one truck of military dudes was not alone, as 3 more trucks show up and they start driving away, at which point we learn that the food truck is indeed rather crazy. Because it's got turbo and a gun! A huge freaking AA cannon.
It has an 85 millimeter cannon.
Oh, yeah, this cannon then has a little speech bubble that specifies that in the previous last war, this cannon shot the entire enemy headquarters into dust. And I'm like, why is this on a truck?
Because it's crazy. I also like that there's like a little light up sign on the front of the food truck that says whatever's happening at the time.
The truck is
Firing.
aware. The truck is aware.
I'm pretty sure the truck has an AI in it named Jonathan. Or maybe that's just the truck's name. I don't know.
The truck is
You know what? That does get mentioned once and then never again, doesn't it?
Uh-huh. Anyway, Arisa finds this destruction of an entire convoy of armed soldiers incredibly funny.
It is very funny.
It is pretty
Because
cool.
she's a killbot. Not really.
But kind of, but not
Kind of.
really. Believe it or not, the manga doesn't really care to explain it to you, so...
Gordon is like, well, I'm on the run from the military already, so what's one more fugitive joining me? You like my food, you can stick around.
Hey, she flatters him.
Yeah.
I really like your cooking. I also will pretty much eat just about anything because I'm hungry.
He's like, I really just cooked for the joy of cooking, but cooking so that other people appreciate it gives me the warm fuzzies. But it is here where we are introduced to one of my favorite guys, Major Kyle.
Major Kyle. Fucking Kyle.
He's such a goober. He is an 80s Saturday morning cartoon scenery chewing villain.
I love how even his colleagues like rib him about like, dude, you were a worrywart. You were so uptight. Chill.
I was gonna say, he feels like he comes straight out of like an early 90s anime. Like...
Oh yeah, no, my immediate reaction to this character is, okay, I understand your joke now you're in the wrong manga. Got it. This will temper my expectations for everything you say and do.
Anytime his subordinate says anything, he says, yes, Tanaka, I have eyes and ears. I can see that. Do not answer a question with a question ever again.
Commit this to memory.
Commit this to memory.
Nothing wrong.
He's great. I love him. He's such a goober.
Name this guy Kyle.
Yeah, the fact his name is Kyle is insane.
Yeah. Okay. Given some, like, blink and you miss it panel hints later on, I think Gordon might have named him Kyle, because I'm pretty sure Gordon's his dad. But we'll get to it later. Either way, Arisa has eaten literally everything in the truck, including all the ingredients, uncooked. And Gordon's like, what? Why? Also, what happened to your shirt? Put a shirt on, but it's hot.
Hot. Geez, Sam, you're so restrictive.
I didn't say it. Gordon said it.
Shirts are so restrictive.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm perfectly fine with Arisa's mode of dress.
Look, they're in the middle of a desert, and it's a post-apocalyptic desert. It's easily over 100. Like,
Yes,
Yeah.
it is very hot.
really, the fact Gordon has multiple layers on is really the insane thing.
Yep, bandana, Hawaiian shirt, pants. He's really overdressed.
I think
But,
he has an undershirt under the Hawaiian shirt.
And it's like, why?
Because he needs to look like a cool grandpa. But they go
Listen,
to...
I see nothing wrong with this. That seems like a perfectly fine temperature for it to be.
Jake, you would live in the dried up seabed after the world loses all its water to desertification.
Yes.
But you wouldn't have a food truck.
Probably not. Yeah, I don't understand. I don't understand Arisa's motivation at all. Don't get it.
Yay.
But they need to go get some additional ingredients, so they go fishing. Except there's no water, so they go to the sand sea instead, which is in a weird coral forest. It's a very cool visual.
Yeah, like, much as we mentioned this manga not really caring about world building, they don't care about hard world building, but like
so much soft world building.
The vibe that it creates. Like, it's so easy to follow what the idea is.
Isn't
Yeah.
the primary idea that because this comes up several times. So the reason why, they're fishing, there's coral, there's a lot of underwater scenery or references. A thought that immediately came to mind was that just most of the world, in addition to just becoming a desert, was just they are currently traversing an area that used to be the ocean.
Underwater. Yeah.
Yeah.
Underwater, yeah. Like, I think they spend most of their time, in the seabed, which must mean that, the old continents are absolutely massive mountains, which is pretty cool to think about. Again, the vibe goes crazy.
They don't say it explicitly. Oh, know what? They do eventually say it explicitly. They're driving around Japan, in case that wasn't obvious, but
Yeah,
Mhm.
there's a couple of landmarks and location names.
yeah, the final
Yep.
arc is literally just in a named island. So,
And Gordon pays for something in yen at one point.
well, that could mean anything.
That could mean
Yeah.
anything, yeah, but...
He pays for something in currency.
But they go fishing. They fish up some squid. Arisa turns out to be pretty good angler.
Well, they don't just fish for some squid. This is the squid that you have to smack between the eyes.
Yeah, you have to karate chop it between the eyes to instantly kill it. That's how you fish for squid, right?
Yes.
That's how you fish for sand squid.
Yeah, these squid die in one hit if you karate chop them straight between the eyes.
I wonder if
You
this will
have-
be important. Oh, hey, look, she fished up Cooper Blooper.
Like literally just the Mario boss.
Yeah.
You must strike the weak point for massive damage.
They get coated in ink.
They get coated in ink, and then tentacles happen to Gordon.
Yep.
Of course.
I was just like, okay, they're gonna do the tentacle joke at some point, but who's it gonna? Okay, it's Gordon. Yep, figured.
I love how Gordon even yells out, "Why is this happening to me?"
Why me? It's like, okay, dude, don't lean on the fourth wall too hard.
Well, that's mostly because Arisa was the one who attacked the squid.
Well, yeah, no. He's wondering why he's getting attacked when he didn't technically do anything. But the meta joke is,
Oh no, this manga loves the meta joke of the characters are talking to each other in universe, and it makes sense with what they're doing. But the way the panels are structured is clearly saying a second thing to the audience.
Yeah.
There's a real bad panel that we might talk about when it comes up that I love because it's just funny.
But yes, Arisa does go in and use her superpowers to karate chop the squid between the eyes and kill it in one shot. And fun thing, these squids turn white when they die, which means we get the awesome panel of this entire massive squid turning white. So it looks, so in universe, it looks like the final boss of a video game dying. It's really, it's a fun way to use your goofy world building for a cool visual. I like it a lot.
Many ways, though, this entire world for Arisa is like a video game.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Grand Theft Auto. You just meet random people. They give you, I guess, well, not food, but give you
Jay, have you ever played Grand Theft Auto?
yes.
Okay.
I'm
And
talking about post-apocalyptic, stealing vehicles and stealing what you need and making
Gotcha.
do. Yeah, not literally, going on quest and, beating up ladies of the night in the middle of the day. But whatever.
Fallout? Question mark.
That's still Fallout.
Anyway, we're in a global drought, but we have a shower in the food truck because we need a shower scene with Arisa. I mean, to get the sink off.
Yeah. The fact that he just has a shower and they're willing to use it right now, considering
I'm considering how hot it is. You're coated in disgusting sweat. Heck yes, you better have a shower.
As much as, yes, there is an element of the hygiene requirement, it's a shower. That is so inefficient.
You could just use a bath.
A bath is even water.
I mean, we saw what the military was willing to do for a much smaller amount of water.
Yeah. But
You know what? Gordon just out there wasting water sounds 100% on brand. I
He's
resent
actually
all
the
that.
villain of all of this.
He's retired. He's retired. He's living it up.
That water is 100% probably recycled or something. Or
All
they kept-
water's recycled.
Yes, but I mean, or I don't know. It doesn't even rain because they're in a desert, right?
That is a defining characteristic of deserts, yes.
Yep.
I mean, occasionally it does rain, but I just wonder, like, if there would be like a rain spout on the truck that it would collect rainwater or
I don't
something.
I don't think that's the thing you'd have year round, but
I don't know. You're in a souped up crazy truck. Why not have all the bells and whistles?
it is a
Yeah.
crazy food truck. It has no rules.
So they harvest the giant squid to make some more food, and Arisa happily enjoying the calamari. And Gordon's like, "Aw, she's so cute."
Yep. They also have so much squid left over that he is drying it in the back of the truck for an old man stack of super umami dried squid, and it goes great with beer if we had any.
If we
Yeah.
had any.
It stinks.
He's still lamenting the loss of the beer from the very first chapter.
Thankfully, we're going to one of the few cities in the desert, so we will probably be able to get something there and sell these squid burgers. Step right up.
They're going to Blue Lake City, which, to the surprise of no one, has no water anywhere to be found.
But they have lots of beer.
Yeah, so they must have water like that must be where the brewery is.
Yeah.
It is, yeah.
Again, world building, not the strong suit here.
The fact that it seems to be maybe not as precise as other characters, but at least everyone has somewhat of a common knowledge that there used to be water.
There's definitely still got to be water here. That's just probably
No,
what the brewery's
No,
on.
what I mean is like kind of like people are like, oh, like Market Street. You know that probably decades, hundreds of years ago, there probably were markets down there. Probably this is called Blue Lake City because there were lakes and everywhere or something like that. That would be really nice to have here, but you know, I what I'm just saying is like probably people recognize that the world was very different when these places were originally named.
But unfortunately for them and their daily special of fried squid burgers, it's a ghost town. No customers, anywhere to be found.
Passion project in his retirement.
My favorite part is he recruits Arisa to scream into the bullhorn to get some customers to show up, and she's extremely enthusiastic. She's like, "Cheap fried squid burgers, I'm sick of them. They're delicious." Why did you say you're sick of them? Because I've had like 12. That's too many.
Because he keeps
Yes.
making new batches and they start going cold, and she's just like, well, can I eat them? Might as
Yep.
well.
And this does successfully attract one customer, a small child, who is then immediately scolded by an old man, like, "Don't you know you can't go outside? That is forbidden under the rules."
Oh,
Hey, Gramps, sounds like a quest. And yet,
I'll help you with your trouble if you buy my food.
You mentioned something about a brewery. Where is it?
Yes.
I will work for beer.
My favorite part is he doesn't even agree to free the town.
No, he's like, "Where's your beer?"
I'm literally just freeing the brewery because I want beer.
Well, yeah, he doesn't even tell the old man this. The old man is starting to get hounded by the hoodlums who show up on their motorcycles going like, hey, Gramps, don't you know the one rule is that if you don't meet the quota, you don't get to leave your houses? Because that's the rules we've made. We're a biker gang.
Don't you know, old man? We're military deserters who went and took over the brewery, so you better get working. And Gordon's like, wait. Brewery?
Yes,
Whoa,
beer.
hold on, punk. You want to eat a squid burger? What? And then just shoves a squid burger through this guy's front teeth. I'm pretty sure he's dead.
Probably.
Maybe.
They've not had any qualms about killing up to this point. Arisa punches one of them with a squid burger.
Well, specifically because those two guys, a bunch of people come out of their houses and go like, wow, those bodies belong to the gang who's here, so they're going to take this out on us.
Mm-hmm.
You've not done anything. You're not real heroes. And he's just like, I don't want to be a hero. But you said a brewery?
Never claimed to be. See, my favorite part is the sound effect for Arisa punching a guy with the burger is smash, and I just went, smash burger. Gordon also goes full Dragon Ball Z character, and while one of the guys is like, huh? Just Pierce behind you.
Teleports behind you. Nothing personnel, kid.
Chokes him to death with a burger. But, yeah, it's like, oh, hey, quest. We're gonna go get some beer. If we have to beat up some punks in a brewery, all the better.
This is acceptable.
We also learned that the crazy food truck operates on the same logic as Nico's van from Devil May Cry 5, as it can just go through walls with no damage.
It is a pretty crazy food truck.
Yep.
Stop trying to apply rules to it.
It's going into turbo mode.
Yes.
Yeah. Turbo mode, which of course makes it immune to bricks. Makes perfect sense to me, honestly. While Gordon is busy intimidating the punk wing, like, where's your boss? Arisa's like, ooh, beer.
Yeah.
I have not had this before. I will now have all of it.
Yeah, she very much reminds me of, well, very much like a toddler.
Yeah, we meet the leader of these military deserters who demands to be called Colonel. He's a gross fat guy who uses the dudes under his control to do nothing but drink beer and grope ladies all day. These classic post-apocalypse raider villain.
Yes.
I mean, he's also just bandit captain. Like, he is literally just a cliche. Like, that,
Yeah.
which is the point.
Yeah, raider boss.
A weird part of me at the scene where the woman who brings him, I suppose I guess she's bringing him beer and snacks, and she's just, and he obviously offers her, he's like, I'll make you my woman too. And she's just like, I have a husband and a kid. And he's just like,
Sounds like their problem.
sounds like their problem. I'm still into it. And she's like, what?
I am distinctly not. Please do not.
And Gordon's like, hey, fried squid burger delivery is here. We didn't order any delivery. And then Gordon starts kicking their asses. Pulls out a gun, shoots the beer tanks to wash them all away. Deflects bullets with the serving tray to, cool guy stuff.
Out of all the manga we've read, this one definitely does the most just, and here is a Hollywood action scene.
Yep. Arisa comes in drunk off her ass.
Oh, yeah.
Gordon is wondering in passing as he's dealing with the thugs. Wonder where Arisa went. She stumbles in completely shit-faced.
I love how Arisa is actually worse at fighting these guys because she's drunk. And then you've got Gordon just go like...
She actually gets better, though, because, he asks, like, oh, does she have drunken fist or something?
Well, he's kind of asking that jokingly, like, is that supposed to be your drunken fist?
Yeah, because, like, this is clearly like Arisa could obviously like just walk through these guys normally, whereas it's more of a comedy scene than an action scene.
There's nothing in moderation.
Not at all. My favorite thing, which is actually a critical plot point, is that drunken Arisa's like, it's too hot, taking off my clothes. And Gordon's like, God damn it, put a shirt on, and like tries to cover her up.
Again, like a toddler. It's too hot.
He takes off his own shirt in the process, which reveals the cool tattoo on his shoulder of a black scorpion, which is seen by the raider boss as he gets his ass kicked. And
there's a whole thing where it's setting up like he recognizes the black scorpion, which we find out later that no, he very definitively doesn't. It's like, tattoo. Anyway, I'm getting kicked in the face now.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, day saved, raiders defeated. Gordon's just like, oh, hey, townspeople, what are you doing here? Your heroism, it inspired us to come and take back our town and our beer. Heroism?
I guess I did do that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, fine. Does that mean I get to take beer? Yes, cool.
Awesome. All right, Arisa, we're leaving. We've got beer now.
And more importantly, it's not his job to be a hero. It's his job to sell food.
Yeah. Which means the town also got fed, coincidentally. Again, more accidental heroism.
And we do in fact confirm that fried squid burgers do in fact go well with beer.
Mm-hmm.
That's very important.
We have the military boys continuing to follow in their wake. It's just like, have you seen this woman? Never seen her before in my life.
Strong implication that Kyle does not buy this, but also doesn't want to, attack the town.
Yep.
The old guy saying that he, again, like vouching for Arisa, really kind of surprised me. But then also I was reminded, like, this is like, again, post-apocalyptic society honor system of like, no, you did a very strong good for our
You-
society, so we're going to vouch for you.
You did right by us, so we'll do right by you.
Also, to be fair, they just spent 3 years under hostile rule from military deserters, so it's not like they see the military in high regard.
Mm.
Oh, by the way, we have some beaten up military deserters. You guys want them? Yeah, sure.
I think the implication is they called the military to turn them in, but
They're going in the brig, though.
Yeah.
As 6 of one, half a dozen of the other.
yeah, don't be wrong. This manga does make weird plot jumps, but that's my interpretation at least.
Yeah, but it's all to serve the vibe.
Well, it's a road trip. You skim over the hours of driving where you just don't do anything.
Exactly. And as the raider boss is being interrogated, it's like, have you seen this woman? Oh yeah, she was with the guy with the black scorpion tattoo. Black scorpion tattoo. Yeah, the old guy.
Old guy.
Well then.
Tattoo.
And my favorite panel of Kyle doing a Lelouch hand pose. A coincidence this absurd can only be fate. You
This is
freaking goober.
This is his most I am in the wrong manga moment in the entire reading.
Tanaka is like, Major, why are you cackling evilly?
Major, I turned around. You appear to be a Yu-Gi-Oh villain. What's going on?
Oh, his hair isn't spiky enough.
Which is saying something, because his hair is incredibly spiky.
Yes.
He doesn't look like he stuck his hand in an electric socket.
Not yet.
But we cut back to Gordon driving along with his Heisenberg hat, and it's like, Gordon, I'm hungry. Yeah, well, we ran out of.
You were always hungry.
You're always hungry, and we ran out of food again. So we're going to a nearby town to get some food. And anyway, I'm gonna go get dinner. What we are currently driving? What are you? Hup. And oh, there's a thing.
I'm gonna make the thing food.
She runs to the nearest large animal and drop kicks it to death. That poor giant pufferfish thing.
Yeah, she then tries to eat the pufferfish cow and is just like... Then Gordon has to rip her off, going like, okay, no, that thing is incredibly poisonous.
Do not.
You will die.
We're going to take this to the nearby town so that we can sell it, though. And this town has the whole ass waterfall.
Yeah, because water's scarce.
It makes sense.
Scared is not non-existent.
Yeah, it makes sense that there'd be a whole market around a moving water source. Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, thanks for the giant pufferfish cow guy. Here's a whole bunch of money for it. How'd you bag a whopper like this? I didn't. Crazy girl over there killed it with one kick. Good one. Yeah, it sure is. Anyway, we've got a lot of money now. We're gonna go buy ingredients.
Audience, remember this man for later.
We have another great totally not an innuendo scene of Arisa holding some giant melons, and also proving to be very good at being able to discern how to find a good ripe watermelon, because she's got crazy good senses. And Gordon's like, man, you've got like crazy good senses, and you have a super high metabolism, and you're incredibly strong.
Anyway.
And I love the half panel of Arisa's face, just internal screaming. I'm definitely not a part of a super soldier project. Anyway, hey, ramen.
Hey, they have a Chinese restaurant here, which...
Yes, and that boggles my mind, because they proceed to order overwhelmingly, except for the last two things, Japanese dishes.
Yeah, they sit down. It's like a dim sum place, so it's got the rotating table in the center. They appear to be the only people in this restaurant, which makes sense later on, but the big thing is he orders 2 bowls of ramen, 2 plates of pot stickers, a vegetable, and a beef dish, and then it really annoyed me because literally only the ramen ever shows up.
Look, given the Hollywood action scene that happens, it kind of makes sense.
Yeah. They basically try ramen for the first time. Both of them, Arisa's trying it for the first time. She loves it. She slurped down the bowl though, so she needs to go to the bathroom. And then while Gordon is enjoying his ramen, a person in casual clothing, but with a character design who could literally be no one else, sits down and goes like, "Hey, do you mind if this seat's taken? Plenty of seats here. I'd rather sit with you, boss."
Whoa.
I knew it was you, Kyle. Excuse me, it's Lieutenant Kyle now. I'm gonna call you Kyle. God damn it.
No, First Lieutenant Kyle. Actually, General, I've been promoted to Major. You're still just Kyle.
I love how they're having this conversation, and he goes like, "I don't trust you, so move carefully. I'd suggest you move carefully." And then we cut to underneath the table, and they both just have guns where their dicks are.
Yeah. There's a metaphor in here somewhere, or a euphemism. I'd like to resolve this peacefully. What a coincidence. So would I.
So right as he was sitting down, Gordon ordered a second bowl of ramen, which the kitchen then got.
Yeah.
Because we needed a loud sound effect that wasn't a gun firing to break the tension, so putting down the ramen bowl with a thunk was that.
Plus, we need a prop for the action scene coming up.
But they've gotten a refill on one of their dishes when none of the other food has arrived.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why this bothers me so much.
Past trauma from restaurant experiences?
I hate it when people don't give me my entire order.
Yeah. You have until Arisa returns to her seat to make your decision, General. We are going to be taking her back to headquarters. Literally, next panel, Arisa sitting down. Ooh, seconds are here.
Well, so much for that ultimatum.
And then Gordon just goes over to Kyle and just being like, "Hey, you ever read the first arc of Yu-Gi-Oh? What do you mean by that?"
Boom! Spins the table, throwing the ramen into his hand to knock the gun away.
It's insane.
Oh, also, Kyle says, I psyoped the entire town, so now every customer in this restaurant is actually one of my men.
Oh, excuse me, not every customer in the restaurant. The entire town.
The entire town is my men.
Which included the person who bought the cow from them.
Yeah.
But why do you think they got so much money?
I was going to say, I guess that makes that government money.
Yeah, military stipend.
I believe it, but like, this is when Kyle just turned into Lelouch. Like,
for exactly one chapter.
I have my own qualms with Lelouch, so yes, this is pretty adequate.
We all do.
Oh, I really hate him.
With the now spinning table, it allows Gordon and Arisa to jump on top of it and take down all of these surrounding gunmen with a super cool action scene.
Oh, yeah.
It's also got like a cool shadowed effect, and you see like splotches everywhere, and I can only assume that's because they're throwing ramen at them, not because that's blood. I'm assuming it's that.
Until the big splash page, when there are lots of black splotches.
It's okay. The ramen dried.
Okay.
But yeah, Gordon holds the gun on Kyle, and it's like, I don't care if she's a military secret. I ain't handing her over, because I've given her too much free food.
Well, don't worry, because I have a katana. Kyle, why do you have a katana? It is the superior weapon. Also, I know exactly what model gun you have, and you fired exactly 18 bullets. That means you're out. It's like, aha, but behind my back, I have a spoon. Well, I guess I'm going to die.
And Arisa's like, you destroyed my seconds, and grabs the katana.
No, don't grab the katana, you idiot.
Bends the sword, and this distraction is enough for Gordon to use his smartwatch to summon the truck.
Which is where we get the fact the truck is controlled by an AI. And this is never mentioned again.
Named Jonathan. Because Gordon looks into his watch and says, Jonathan, fire.
Can I ask a stupid question? Because I passed over this and didn't notice it the first time. Is the dude with the eye patch from the flashbacks Jonathan?
No, I don't recall his name, but he is not Jonathan.
Okay.
There are two people in the flashbacks that appear only in the flashbacks and never again. They are not important.
Yes.
It's Eye Patch Man and Big Man.
Big Man only shows up once, or...
He's only in one scene. He's in multiple panels in one scene.
Yeah. Anyway, no, it isn't. He's not Jonathan.
This completely destroys the restaurant, leaving Kyle and Tanaka as the only survivors.
Of course. And Kyle.
Frickin' Kyle, man. Are we going after them, sir? No. Why? Well, let me ask you this, Tanaka. What is Vald's mission? Because that's our military, and also I'm not obeying my own never answer a question with another question rule. Our mission is to defend world peace and order, and there's your answer. What?
That doesn't answer the question, but okay.
I love this so much.
Major, that doesn't make any sense.
Shut up, Tanaka.
So
Yes, sir.
I forget. This entire action piece we're describing as if it happened as if it was a non sequitur. It's actually split up by the volume 1 and volume 2 break. And volume 2 of the manga begins with them driving in the car with her wound bandaged up and she's just eating a curry block. And I was so confused for 2 pages before I found out that it just continued.
Yeah, that they're en medias resing.
Yeah, it starts with a flash forward to a flash back.
But then they never flash back to them in the car eating curry roux. They just also jump ahead. So that was just...
Yeah, they jump ahead to the next morning where Arisa's like, Gordon, I'm hungry. Wake up. Feed me.
Also, my hand is fine now.
Yeah. What's going on? Your hand's healed. How? I ate and slept. What?
I know sleep is very restorative, but not that well.
Are you a D&D character? Like,
Long rest.
Anyway, I'm hungry. Okay, then.
well, I guess we should have an episode where we go find food that's good at healing you. Hot spring? Hot spring.
Hot spring.
Hot spring.
But
Yep.
actually not a hot spring.
Yeah, because it's a like a volcanic cave and then a
It's more like a sauna in a pool is what it ends up being. But yeah,
I mean, I guess it's technically a hot spring. It's an underground spring.
nope, it's out in the open air.
Yep.
They go through like a volcanic tunnel is the thing.
Okay.
And that's the hot part. He's like, ooh, we found, all right, cool. We found a pool. Oh, it's really cold. Clear, tasty water. And Arisa immediately strips and jumps in. When did you get naked?
Ask those questions, Sam. You don't have to. Just yes.
To be fair, it was for them living in a desert. The volcanic cave they go through is incredibly hot to the point they were about to pass out and die. So Gordon then comes back in his boxers with a pot from the food truck
Kitchen. Yeah.
Yeah, because he's just going full on old man at the sauna. Like,
Yep.
he's enjoying his retirement.
And then he teaches Arisa the ways of proper Japanese bathhouse saunas.
And because it's a proper Japanese bathhouse sauna, he does tell Arisa to put on a bathing suit, which they have, which causes more confusion. Because when did they buy that bathing suit? Did they buy it from a government agent app?
During the shopping spree?
Why would the government agent do that? That doesn't seem in their best interest.
Were you at some point anticipating you would find a body of water in which you could use this suit? Why?
That's the other thing, yeah.
Why would you have a swimsuit in the apocalypse desert?
Yeah, this manga doesn't make sense and it doesn't want to.
Exactly. So they do the whole sauna thing, and they have a great time with it. They sit in the sauna, they do the cold bath, they do the open air bath, and Arisa is just completely blissed out on the experience.
And like a toddler. Everything is new and exciting.
Jay, I'm going to ask you a real big favor here. Could you stop telling me Arisa's a toddler? The end of this manga will feel a lot less weird.
Yes, I know. Yes.
Actually, especially
Yes,
with the panel, because again, Matt, that thing you mentioned about how this manga will double entendre with its panel framing. Arisa with a blissed out expression laying back with her face sweat is certainly something.
Yeah, they certainly do make that face sweat look opaque.
It's face sweat. It's just face sweat. Yes.
Why are you reading into this?
That was great. Hey, Gordon, my legs hurt. Crab march.
So many crabs. Literally. Baskets and baskets of crabs.
There might be another metaphor in here somewhere.
Yeah, they got naked, went in the pool, were relaxing in the afterglow, and then there were crabs. They now have an extreme amount of crabs. They still have some leftover squid, and we neglected to mention it, but there were also oysters. at the squid,
Of course.
the squid fiasco, the Gooper Blooper boss fight,
Mhm.
which
Yes, again, cementing my hypothesis that they're just on a seabed.
They confirm that.
Yeah, they say that out loud.
which means ultimate seafood curry. And
Yeah.
I really want this curry. This sounds amazing.
Oh, it looks so good.
It does.
I don't see the appeal.
I like how Arisa is so blissed out on the hot spring that he puts the food down and she initially doesn't even acknowledge it.
Mhm.
It's
Damn,
like,
that's
oh
pretty
man,
deep. Even
you're right.
even when she's not immediately saying she's hungry, she's like, "I want to eat that."
She just passively starts shoveling it into her face, not even realizing what she's doing until she actually tastes it.
Mhm.
Yes,
And then
and
she's
I'm
like,
"That's bored eating right there. Don't do
she's like,
that."
oh, wait, this is perfect. Slurps the entire thing. Seconds. And welcome back to reality.
Did you just drink that rice?
Jeez, all these double entendre panels, and this is the most she looks pregnant from eating too much food that it gets. God damn it.
Baby.
It's weird.
They have a good time with it. She says, "This is great. Let's do this again sometime." Yes, we shall. And meanwhile, not only do they have bathing suits, they also have payphone booths because Kyle is pulled over at one and calling headquarters. At which point we learn Vald, this military organization. They want Arisa because she is part of the Doll Project, and you will be accompanied by your own doll.
Have you ever seen a doll try and defend someone? Why would a doll do that?
Her mental state is aberrant for the project. So we introduce Arisa's little sister, Mina, spelled with a Y.
Thank you. I was so confused about the pronunciation because I was like, it has to be Mina.
It better be Mina, because if they made the like
Mina.
super intelligent lolly character's name be Mina, I was just not gonna deal with this manga. Like that's too on the nose. Because Mina is 8 years old and 2 months, and talks like an adult. And thankfully, they don't do anything weird with her.
Yep.
This is not a lolicon.
I was educated in the lab. Okay.
We also get a lot of Kyle's direct superior.
Yes, Colonel Sarah, who looks like a scaled up version of Mina, and also like Arisa. Gee, I wonder if that'll come up.
Nope. No one
Nope.
notices that, except
Apparently,
everyone
no one
notices
notices.
this.
My favorite part is the fact that for some reason Arisa has black hair, while the rest of this little family has white hair. And apparently that is enough for Gordon to be like, I don't see it.
We'll get to it.
I have my theories about that, actually.
Yeah, but
There's a pretty consistent through line of, because of the three main characters who, like, strictly speaking, know what's going on, they all know each other really well, and a lot of them are just like not bothering. Like, you're up to some nonsense. I'm not gonna care about it. I'm just gonna keep doing my thing.
so because they have the new doll that is being given to them because they've learned Arisa was capable of defending someone, that might mean dolls are capable of learning how to be defenders. So we're going to send Mina with you on a mission to go find water, because that's what Vuld does, is we find sources of water in the desert and we secure them, because it's better for one person to own all the water than let other people own water.
Yes, securing the resources.
To manage it for world peace.
Your world peace.
So you say that. I genuinely believe Kyle views that as the mission. Like,
Oh yeah, no,
Yes,
I fully,
100%. He's very much by the book.
yeah, I fully believe that Kyle has drunk the Kool-Aid in that respect. But they find a really big tree.
Don't they also, so going back to your point about the fact they learn that the dolls can defend others, they just because Mina specifically comes out if necessary, she brings up the fact that if necessary I can like defend, or she is educated in combat. So it's just kind of I kind of assumed, I guess, that was part of their education in the lab to some extent.
but apparently they've not observed one having like a the
a personal attachment.
yeah, there's not the impulse to defend others. Like
Do
as we
they?
get
This just brings more questions because I'm like, have you interacted with these dolls? Do they even care about you?
Apparently not.
If not, then there's no reason for them to want to defend you. You're just this person.
See, but that's treating them like people instead of
Yeah.
super soldier tools, which is clearly what Vald is doing. Also, I
Yeah.
keep wanting to call them Vlad or Bald.
I kept reading Vlad, I'm not gonna lie.
But Mina is she's pretty great. I like Mina because they find the big tree and she's like, "This is a reservoir tree." What's a reservoir tree? You wouldn't know what it is. Why? Because you're a highly advanced, super educated, super soldier experiment thing? No, because I just made it up.
Burn.
Well, okay then.
I love that so much. You wouldn't be familiar with the term. I just made it up.
I love how this tree is 6,000 years old
Yeah.
and apparently was in Japan.
Yes. You're not supposed to look into the tree's age because we all know that trees live a long time, yada, yada, yada.
Mm-hmm.
It's rude to ask a tree its age.
Yes.
But this is also, it's in the same conversation we get told the Earth desertified 569 years ago.
Stop
like-
making it make sense. It just is an old tree. That's all we need to know. Old tree is old.
Okay,
Okay.
so fish learned to live in the desert.
Mhm.
The tree spontaneously growing carnivorous plant powers
The
is not the
tree fish.
weirdest thing that happens in this manga where the flora and fauna are concerned.
Yeah, because they go into the tree to find the water. They find the water, and it turns out it's carnivorous, and the roots attack the guy, like almost directly out of Evil Dead. And considering this chapter started with them having a conversation about how weird it is that the dolls have no empathy, Major Kyle literally just has a very civil conversation with Mina as Tanaka is being killed and consumed by a root.
Yeah.
This poor guy.
And it's not until the root tries to attack Mina that Kyle acts and kills the root. And Mina's like,
Tanaka,
"Oh."
Tanaka, you know where you stand in this relationship.
But it's like, Mina is like, "Oh, I've learned empathy from you sacrificing yourself for me." Cut to Tanaka being encased in roots. Please help me.
Shut up, Tanaka. But yes, the water in this case, the tree somehow used water to gain opportunity to lure others into its depths so that it could then eat them.
Yeah, and at the end, Kyle goes, "No, we're not going to take the water. Just because this tree is incompatible with humanity doesn't mean it's incompatible with being alive." And I'm
Mhm.
like, what
Okay,
a
then.
terrible moral to have for your job. Like,
He's an
Well-
environmentalist.
Well,
Look
yeah,
at
no,
that.
Kyle is an aggressive idealist, is what it is.
yeah, but
it-
his ideal should be helping people with water, which there is currently a crisis over. This, he's just completely fine with. This tree kills things for water. Like,
So do people.
okay.
he's being a conservationist. I'm not saying that this is smart, logical, or reasonable. I'm saying he's an absurd idealist.
Yeah, they try and laugh this off as the G.I. Joe moral ending to this, and it's just like, well, no, hold on, what?
But they head back to the truck, and Kyle makes their dinner, singing the same bacon song that Gordon did.
I made my team BLTs, except we don't have lettuce or tomato.
So they're just bees.
God damn it, Kyle.
No, not the bees. Ah.
But Mina's like, I've never had a bacon sandwich before. It's better than I imagined. And he's like, oh, that's cute.
Yes, it is cute. It's very
You
cute.
can tell I'm my sister's sister because I also am food motivated.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine they're like fed like some kind of like liquid slush or like pills or something in the lab.
We have no reason to believe they're not well taken care of in the lab, considering Mina doesn't seem to have any major complaints about it.
Honestly, Arisa doesn't seem to have any major complaints about it. She just did this because she wanted to.
Yeah, she kind of just ran away on a whim. Like,
Which sounds right for her. So Yeah.
But anyway, Gordon and Arisa cut back to they hungry, so they're gonna go hunt. This time they're hunting for camel pigs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there is
Favorite arc. This is my favorite hunting arc.
there is an interstitial chapter where they get escargot.
Yes.
But
Oh, I love this chapter, but it's such a contained story that it
Yeah.
really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's a cute story. It's better to experience it, naturally.
The only thing I want to note is, again, more of the double entendres, because Arisa takes a bite of the escargot and goes, it's good, it's springy, and goes splash in my mouth.
God damn it.
Okay.
Please stop talking.
It's okay. This chapter coming up is my favorite of the double entendres. So they hunt in these camel pigs, which are basically big old pigs with a big old water hump. Is literally it. They're just giant pigs with water hump.
They are also very easy to startle, so you have to be very quiet.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, Arisa has the very loud stomach grumbles.
Yeah. Also, just because I am a nerd and have to point this out, camels don't actually store water in the hump. It's actually fat.
Too bad this is
Yeah,
actually
which
water.
is why it was very,
This
very traumatic when she like curb stomps this poor pig's hump.
Oh.
But yes, Gordon, mid hunt, passes out because he's got a cold. And then, while he is passed out, he flashes back to his much hinted at backstory, where he commanded a squad that involved Sarah, Kyle, an old dude that I know will be important, and then 2 other dudes that are not important.
They're definitely trying to be the 5-man band, but they literally just run out of time to introduce the 2 other guys before the end of the
Well,
manga.
the dude with the eye patch is given so much precedence in this flashback. They characterize him so heavily and he never shows up again.
I love that they're clearly trying to set these up. They're going to give all of these 5 characters backstories, and then this manga ended, so they're like, oh, well, not important.
They weren't there for the going away party.
But anyway, I don't know. Did you guys get much from this flashback? It literally was just like, oh no, I passed out. Oh, I remember those 5 guys and that mission oh no, I woke up from the flashback.
See, the most I got from it was that they were in like a hopeless battle.
Mhm.
And at one point, Kyle had mentioned that Gordon was supposed to be dead. So it seems like it's setting up like, oh, this is a hopeless battle, and it's going to look like Gordon died, but he didn't actually die in that hopeless battle. He went and became a food truck guy, and that's why he's on the run from the military, because he's a deserter. And then they subvert that a little later on in a way I found pretty funny.
Yep. But he wakes up to Arisa had went out hunting the pig.
Mm-hmm.
Aggressive.
This is a good method.
She was hungry.
Unfortunately, did not hunt the pig well. The pig came charging at the food truck and did an amount of damage that I was surprised at while reading this. Like, oh, are they gonna have to worry about repairing the truck? No.
See, I just really liked how Gordon woke up and stumbled. It's like, oh, my head. I'm so woozy from this cold. Am I even awake yet? Sees Arisa riding in on the giant pig, and he's like, yeah, this is a nightmare.
She looks so happy.
But unfortunately, this crash into the food truck causes Gordon some anxiety because it activates the automatic defense mechanism, which cues up the flamethrower we never see again. But you know what? I believe it exists.
Sure, why not?
He then stares at Arisa in the eyes, going like, "Get out of the way! It's going to shoot!" And she's like, "What?" And then the flamethrower shoots and
engulfs the entire pig.
She gets out in the nick of time, and he's like, "Oh, thank God."
Oh, I assumed she was just fireproof. It's not super clear which.
Well, considering the little bunny thing survived, I assume she dodged.
Yeah,
probably.
Maybe.
But yes, they end up barbecuing this pig.
Well, flamethrowering the pig.
Yes.
Close enough.
Yeah, barbecue.
Yeah, which is
That's
great.
how barbecue works, right?
This is great because Arisa's apologizing and he's like, nope, it's a good lesson to always thoroughly cook your meat. And then it's a wide panel shot of just the food truck and the giant flaming pig carcass.
Of how she still references how she does not like cooking her meat.
I wanted to try it raw.
Yeah.
But so she wakes up early the next day. She is excited to tell Gordon how tasty the pig is because she has sliced off a bit from the freshly roasted part. And then my favorite page happens where she has given Gordon the pork steak. He is having it. Gordon is not on panel basically at all. He is eating this completely off panel. And it is just panel framing Arisa on all fours from the back going like, yep, that's all yours. I've already had my fill. Go ahead and dig in. And it's just focused on her butt. They barely show the meat this entire panel. It's just him going, how tasty.
Mm-mm. Very tasty.
It's good meat. It's tender.
It's real funny. It then does segue into a nice little bit where Gordon then starts to teach her, like, hey, if you season meat, it actually tastes better.
Mm-hmm.
Gets out the salt shaker and pepper grinder.
And he teaches her how to cook a little, and they connect over that.
Yeah,
Which is nice.
It's a real sweet little bonding moment. I love it. And she also gets to experience the joy of seeing someone eat her cooking and appreciate it. And then, immediately back to the status quo. I won't. All right, I'm taking yours. No, this is mine, but I want seconds. But yeah, this is actually quite literally halfway through the manga. So now is a good time for us to take a quick break. All this talk of food has made me hungry. I need a snack.
Yeah, go ahead. Have a nice BLT.
Indeed. So we will be right back after this. And welcome back to the show, folks, where last we left our crazy food truckers, coming soon to the History Channel. They had gotten sick of eating pork because it's a big pig. So it's like, how about some sushi? Isn't this a desert world?
Shut up.
We're gonna make it work.
It's a desert world, but we have oceans places, but those oceans are now lakes.
But we do know of one place that has a brackish lake, which means that it's got the best sushi fish.
Well, no, it's even more insane with that. They don't know a place with a brackish lake. Gordon just has a map from before the desertification, which the way he phrases it is that the map itself is from before the desertification, which means he has a 600-year-old map. That's clearly not what is happening, but that is what he says.
I think he just means an out-of-date map, or no one has taken the opportunity, despite the fact they have aircraft, to draw a new map.
Resurvey, yeah.
Yes.
It is a map from before the water dried up. So he's just like, well, here used to be a big old lake. So presumably they still have water. And at the time it was a brackish lake. So
it's probably a much smaller brackish lake now, which means we'll have some real baller sushi fish. Want to go check it out? Gurgle! Don't answer with the sound your stomach makes. As fate would have it, the Vlad squad, the Vald squad, are also going to this place, the Principality of Tawata. Tuwata. God damn it.
We're going to Wada.
They're going to Wada. Which is an isolationist place, which has resisted Vald's control over the years. And we have to hope it goes smoothly. Otherwise, we might have to take drastic measures.
It'd suck if some kind of independent country was invaded for some kind of natural resource they might have.
Like water, in this case. But our heroes approach, finding a shattered battleground of dead tanks. It's like, these assholes are just trying to look tough. Hey, can we come in and Sell food with our food truck? No.
Well, darn.
Hey, do you guys have sushi here? No. Are we really just leaving? But I wanted sushi. No, we're gonna sneak our way in. Don't worry about it. Oh my god, a tank!
The Tawada military has Vold's wanted posters, which seems weird considering she's wanted for being a military secret.
Yeah, but they wouldn't mention the military secret part. They'd just be like, wanted, this person. It's like, huh, she's wanted by Vold. That means we can use her as a bargaining chip. And that's when they use the giant tank, which...
Can I just point out how fucking stupid this tank is? No
What?
part of this machine works correctly.
I was so confused because it was them driving around like, all right, we got to come up with a plan to sneak in there. Just hold your horses. I know you're hungry, but... And then there's Gordon looking surprised. Next page, tank! Which is like...
How did that sneak up on them?
The tank 10 times the size of the food truck.
Well, I think it burst out from behind something, which I acknowledge is stupid, but...
Yeah. It appeared so suddenly and so close to them that Gordon could not swerve in time and ran into it, which knocked the truck over and...
we get a top-down shot.
It's so big. It's got
so stupidly designed.
It's got like 7 guns in different directions. It looks like Russian Badger made this in a World of Tanks video.
Room temperature IQ indeed.
But they kidnap Arisa out of the toppled truck, and it's like, what about the old guy? Just leave him here. Accidents happen all the time.
That doesn't come up anyway.
I mean, we also have to preface that the environment around here is that they literally leave like the husks of all those who have tried to usurp Tawada. So it's kind of like trying to be an intimidation factor. So that is why they're like, accidents happen. We already have like a graveyard of vessels. Leave them here.
Yeah, so I think what this is doing is trying to reinforce the point that the I forget what the government of Tawada is called. It's like the royal...
It's the Principality of Tawada.
Yeah, the Principality of Tawada. They're the bad guys. It is informing you they are bad guys, and Vold, while is antagonistic to the main characters, are the good guys because... as I mentioned earlier, I'd only read the first 2 volumes of this, and this arc actually kind of seesaws over the arc split. I didn't remember the Prince being a Gundam villain, but man, he's a Gundam villain.
Yes.
He is such a Gundam villain. But before we meet the Prince, we have a scavenger driving along in the night and finds the food truck knocked over. And we know he's important because... emblazoned on the side of his scavenger van is the exact same logo as the food truck.
And then we see the guy, and he's old dude from the flashback.
Yep.
From the backstory flashback.
You another Tawada assassin? Wait a minute, Dylan? General? Holy crap. I have so much blood loss, and Gordon falls over.
Oh, there go my organs.
Also, I love the names. Like, Gordon... Kyle, Sarah, Dylan. This Black Scorpion squad had some boring-ass names. Except for Gordon Goliath.
I just love all the Americans hanging around the Sea of Japan.
I don't know. It's been 500 years, and the Pacific's probably completely gone. So they probably came from California in the migrations.
You guys acting like we don't have military agreements with Japan. So there's very likely we have bases in Japan, dude.
That is also true.
It also doesn't matter. It's been such an insane amount of time that things have evolved to be giant. But everyone refers to the pre-water, back when there was water, as if it was yesterday.
It keeps going back and forth because, like, it gives us a concrete amount of time from a character you can trust. But Gordon and company talk like they saw the ocean.
When Kyle says he saw the ocean, he then immediately has to go, well, obviously I wasn't alive for that, but...
He describes the smell of the dried up seabed as the smell of the ocean. It's like, I've never seen it personally, but I've been told that that's what this smell is. But we have Arisa chained in a dungeon by a Gundam villain.
If only she was just chained in a dungeon.
Well, she starts off chained in a dungeon. It does.
It does turn into a Gundam villain.
Yeah. I was gonna say an Evangelion villain.
Yeah, this is way more Evangelion than.
Gordon's been rescued by his old war buddy. They talk for a bit.
They talk for a bit, and Dylan was like the mechanic of the group, because in the time that Gordon has been asleep recovering from his injuries, which looks to be the same night, Dylan has repaired and tricked out the crazy food truck and also fixed Gordon's glasses.
We also get a CSI Miami sting where Gordon comes into the garage, sees the food truck, and he's just like, "That's one crazy food truck."
So the Vald squad shows up. It's like, are you gonna submit? No. Okay, we'll be back with weapons. And they turn to leave, and it's like, actually, you might want to reconsider that. Behold. And
So on the city gate, they have a water tank in the shape of a cross that has naked Arisa strapped into it.
strapped in such a way as to censor all of the naughty bits. But yes, she is in this water tank
Cross?
thing. How's she not dead for many reasons? I don't know. But the salient point here is that it's the
Sam,
first
it's liquid oxygen. She's breathing it fine.
The salient point here is that this is enough to get the Vald squad to back off, and Mina sees Arisa, and she's like, my sister's in danger. I don't know what this emotion I'm feeling is. And Kyle's like, only you can answer that question. Just lock it away in your heart for now. We have a job to do.
That is a Gundam character.
Thankfully, I have an old war buddy in this area who can lend us some wisdom and firepower. We'll go to his scavenger shack in the wasteland. Gee, I wonder who it could be.
I mean, we did see the flashback before that point, so.
I know, but it's still hilarious.
So I have a question. Why does the Tawada military allow someone just to be around scavenging their tank parts? If the goal is to scare people away.
They either don't notice him or he shoots people who try to kick him out.
Or also they're just incompetent.
He's engineer Team Fortress 2.
Yeah, considering how the battle goes, they might just be incompetent, and Vold might be way too nice.
Yeah, honestly, the thing with Vald is the way the manga presents them is that they are actually like managing resources for the common good of all. Whether or not you buy into that kind of depends. The intention of the framing is to buy into the fact that whilst Vald might be it's a large organization, so it's flawed. It might have some corruption running through it, but ultimately they are working for the greater good.
It's got lots of interscene violence, but yeah. So the Vald squad show up at the scav hut, and it's just like, oh, hey, First Lieutenant, it's Major. By the way, they have Arisa. They have Arisa!
Oh no.
What do you mean? Why did you not know that?
Also, no one seems to recognize that he's a major now, and it really irritates him, but he will never go off on that.
Because he's too nice.
Is he?
He's too milquetoast.
He doesn't have enough like hatred in him to be actually mean. He's just kind of unpleasant. He's like mildly irritating.
Like Rex Raptor.
Kinda, yeah. And Mina's like, okay, can you two stop squabbling? We need to get my sister back. Sister? Are you talking about Arisa? Yes, that is the best way to describe it. She's Arisa's sister. And then Mina's stomach starts growling. Oh, yep, that tracks.
Well, since we're all having a meal together, who said anything about that? I've made pork cutlet sandwiches. What?
Now, these were my favorite back when we campaigned together. I know.
Kyle says the most insane thing here. It's just like, ah, yes, all the bad memories sure do give this a deep and complex flavor. And I'm like, what?
Shut up and eat your food, kid.
He's a goober. He thinks he's always dramatically talking into the camera.
He thinks he's like
It's so deep. It's not a phase, Mom.
Mhm.
Yeah.
All right, guys. In 2 hours, we're starting Operation Rescue Arisa, which makes it sound like they have a plan.
Do I look
I
like
love
plan?
See, the 2 hours was just so they could make the pork cutlet sandwiches, actually.
Yes.
Yeah.
Perfection takes time.
This is so amazing. Because, like, the idiotic tank rolls up to the gate as if they've hijacked it and are hiding inside. But no!
Anything weird on patrol? And then actual Principality soldier pops out and is just like, nah, well, I mean, there was that truck that we ran over that was gone. And it was probably scavenged or something. Wait, what? Oh, hey, it's that food truck. It's got way more guns on it. What? You know, General, I expected we'd have a more elaborate plan than charge the gates. Simplicity.
I'm beginning to think Gordon wasn't a very good general.
I'm
I think the Battle of Sodom might have been his fault.
Protag powers.
Should not be underestimated.
It's
Mhm.
okay, because they learned that the true method of suddenly breaking through defenses is press the jump button on your car.
If you can't beat them, hijack them. And they use the new tricked out food truck to jump onto the tank, which is called the Gigantes, by the way.
You see the suspension on this ride.
They land perfectly on the truck. It's like, all right, time to hijack it. You're with me, Tanaka. Yes, sir, Major. And you expect a cool action scene. We do not get that cool action scene.
No, it's literally what this implies is Tawada's entire military was these 5 guys at the gate.
And the tank.
And the tank.
I mean, sure, but like, you know what? That's probably what it's going for. Is their entire thing was they just had a bunch of scavenged tanks and they put them out to scare people from coming.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably it, actually. Anyway, we cut to the prince, who, because he's, I don't even know what kind of villain anymore. He is in his royal chambers, which has a giant tank of water behind him. He has Arisa in her water tank cross, staring at the water tank that's much bigger. And he goes, "Ah, yes, now it's just you and me. Don't you enjoy being a royal where we can look at water? Isn't it amazing that we have so much power?" Oh, no, people are in the royal chambers.
I mean, you say that, I just think of a bathroom. I'm sorry.
Yes, the royal chambers, the toilet.
That is a place that requires a lot of water.
Well,
Yes.
you intruders, I must inform you, you know the secret of these royal chambers, in that the water is actually housing the royal family's eels, the most noble and pure of creatures. But you would only be allowed to see this if you were a royal, so this is quite the exception. Oh, you've left the door open. Hey, boss, we're also the royal soldier. What the fuck, are those eels?
If you guys said it, but it's like the entire premise around this is they've been guarding a long-held family treasure. So they're just like dedicated, willing to risk their lives for the family treasure, something that they assume was very valuable or yes. And this just, hammers home, it's in the eye of the beholder, I guess.
See, my favorite part is that he says the eels, plural, but we only ever see one really big eel.
So I think what that's implying is that the tank has one eel, but the lake
The tank
has
goes
a bunch
into the
of
lake.
Yeah.
Yeah, the tank goes into the lake.
Or alternatively, there were multiple eels in that tank. We just don't see them because the back of the tank ultimately gets blown out and it goes into the water. I thought the big eel escaped into it, but that doesn't come up again.
I think they eat the eel because
Yeah, they eat the big eel.
Yep.
Because they basically immediately say this is dumb.
Yeah, Gordon drove his food truck in here, fires the cannon that has leveled cities, according to lore, through a water tank.
Drove the tank with the food truck on it into the royal palace.
And shoots the eels because Gordon just fucking hates eels, I guess.
Known eel hater, Gordon.
Well, General, we have Arisa. Our business here is finished. Let's get on our way. Oh, Kyle, I'm not a military man anymore. As a cook, I have unfinished business with that eel. I came here for sushi.
At which point the tank explodes, obviously, and just because why not? The eel eats the prince as
Nom.
it flops onto the floor.
Yep.
This is a thing that happens.
I love the shadow of the prince posed all dramatically, and it would be really cool if he didn't have little bug eyes.
The fact that none of the royal soldiers stay on his side once they see they've been defending eels is just like, this arc is just insanity.
This is the longest and most involved plot arc the manga's had up to this point.
We've been isolating ourselves from the rest of humanity. Soldiers have lived and died fighting over this, and it's just a stupid fucking eel? These are sacred eels. I can't believe we ever served this moron.
I'm done. We're joining Volt. What?
It is very cute, though. I want one.
They're like, do the eels do anything? No, they're just eels. What?
They're messengers from heaven.
Until he said messengers from heaven, I thought the entire thing was they were like electric eels and they were powering a power grid, because that sounds like something that this manga would do. But nope, it was just religious fervor, and I'm like, cool.
Yeah.
I really like when they get Arisa out of the bubble bath crucifix. They pull her out, and it's just like, you okay, Arisa? I'm not okay. Single speech bubble in a panel. Turn to the next page. She's like, I'm starving. I want food.
And they make so much sushi because they also fish in the lake that it's unclear if the lake was caused by the tank being ruptured or if that lake was also there.
I'm pretty sure the lake was also there.
Okay, that makes
sense. That's why I think there was more than one eel in the tank, and that the extra eels just went into, because like they make a point of talking about how the back of the tank exploded into the lake.
Okay. Mm-hmm. But regardless, they make a bunch of sushi, which just gives me the question, how do you grow rice in a desert? I mean,
don't worry about it.
Considering you have sandfish, it seems like the rice is the hard part to get of sushi, but they do mention the sandfish make terrible sushi because the grains of sand get into their flesh.
It's coarse and it's rough and it gets everywhere.
Shut up. God damn it.
Not just the sandfish, but the sand women and children too.
Okay, that one was really good.
He even gives the ex-royal guards some of the sushi, and it's like, but we made life really hard for you. I mean, you were the ones who guarded that treasure, right? You should partake of it. Huh. Thanks.
To your shame. Yes.
Wholesome, I guess.
And thus concludes the Principality of Tawada arc. Time for the last arc of the manga. The price of freedom sure is steep. I didn't know we were playing Final Fantasy VII.
We also have to de-upgrade the food truck because apparently it would scare away customers.
Gordon, we've never had customers. It's for the aesthetic.
That food truck was too crazy.
We need a regular amount of crazy. Anyway, are we going to have any conflict with the Vault Squad being here? No, we're just going to amicably go our separate ways.
There's a little thing about how Mina wanted to talk with Arisa, but she passed out from being too full and
then wandered away when she woke up. Yeah.
And literally she just goes like, hey, don't you know you've been away from the lab for so long? And then Arisa kind of just says something very nebulous that's just like, hey, I just want to live the rest of my life super happy, no matter how long that is. What? It's fine. Okay.
There's one part where Mina goes up to Arisa and it's like, who are you again? Bye. Sister, we were in the lab together. Wait a minute, one of my sisters. Hold on. Oh, hi, Mina. Why did you recognize me by smell? You can't be sure by appearance alone. Anyway.
Excuse me, are we going to unpack that?
No, we are not going to unpack that.
We also aren't going to unpack the fact that the dolls seem to be created in models. So there's a bunch of dolls that look like Arisa and a bunch of dolls that are the newer model that look like Mina.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they're going their separate ways, so Gordon and Arisa can just be chill.
Yeah, Mina just seems to accept that what Arisa wants is to not go back to the lab. She doesn't care that it will have her nebulous backstory doom fall upon her.
They do use doom as a sound effect, which I like.
Yep. We also have Kyle talking with Gordon about basically the same thing. And it's just like, you know that she'll like die if she doesn't deal with the backstory doom, right? Yep.
She is happy. She is happy like this, and we're just gonna keep going with that.
So then they run into some sand shark chickens.
Oh, I love this chapter because it's like, oh, it's a cooking manga. You're obviously going to have to do fried chicken at some point. I'm just wondering how they're going to do it. The chapter cover for this is them both dressed up like Colonel Sanders.
I know, it's so good.
Arisa looks so good like that.
And I'm just wondering, like, okay, how are they going to find chickens? And in the most insane way possible, the truck is chased by these like red cockcombs coming out of the sand, and they jump out like sharks, except they're just full roosters.
Yeah.
How were they swimming through the sand?
It doesn't matter. The important part is that as soon as Arisa hears that chicken tastes good, she leaps out of the moving truck like, dinner!
Fist raised to punch a chicken in the face, as you do.
You're all covered up in scratches, you reckless woman. Oh, well, here's your chicken. She's like, yes, chicken. It even says that it's Gordon's 12 spice blend. the secret ingredient of his fried chicken.
I gotta say, I don't know if I was just getting hungry by the time I got to this point in the reading or anything. This looked the best out of all the food they made, this fried chicken.
It really did. It also has my favorite Arisa eating something reaction sequence because it's just her with like completely blank eyes. Crunch, 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 gulp. I could eat this forever.
I think it's just because I've eaten a lot of fried chicken and karage, and I'm just like, yeah, chicken's like you have to have it. But I really wanted to try those shrimp burgers or those squid burgers.
Squid burgers.
Couldn't even remember what those burgers you wanted were called.
No, I just found the chicken to be, generic.
I still don't see the appeal of any of it, but
at least I have chicken.
Really? Were you messed out by telling Jacob to read a cooking manga?
Next time, Shokugeki no Soma.
We should really get a guest if we ever do Soma. That seems...
Yeah.
This actually post-apocalyptic kind of like really out there different world kind of thing reminds me of Toriko, which I really liked. It's another food anime if you're unaware. It preceded Shokugeki no Soma.
But we get the flashback to the conclusion of Gordon and Kyle's conversation. It's like, look, Kyle, I have never met anyone who appreciates their food as much as Arisa does. So I don't care what she is or what awaits us down the road. I am going to feed that woman as much tasty food as I can. With this big zoom in of her super happily eating the chicken, my heart is warm.
Because that's what Gordon wants. He just likes it when people enjoy his food. And he's not met anyone who enjoyed his food as much as Arisa does.
But alas, no good things can last, because the next day, Arisa wakes up and finds that despite the fact that she ate and slept a whole lot, her arms are still covered in the chicken scratches. The super healing is going away. But forget about that. We have chicken and pasta.
They do use the leftover chicken to make some nice tomato pasta.
It looks so good. I want it. It's my two favorite things, chicken and pasta.
Eaten pasta before.
But it's at this point that Gordon notices that Arisa isn't getting her super healing, which is intercut with Vault Headquarters, which is a big hole in the ground with a weird cyberpunk skyscraper. I don't know why that's so funny to me. It's just a perfectly circular hole at a random spot in the ground with the friggin' a piece of the big Getty star in it.
Hexagons are the bestagons.
Mina gets her shot of super soldier dying to death disease juice, which for some reason is injected through the little like collars she wears.
Yeah,
So,
that
like,
was kind of creepy. I kind of cringed.
I
with
assume
that.
it's going into her throat. Is the
yeah,
deal.
But the thing is, there's ways to more efficiently, like if it is going just into your throat, ways to administer that. You
It's
know,
weird super soldier juice that needs to go in the neck. Don't question it.
Yep. That's how.
why not
That's how
why not like the main carotid artery then?
they have different bones.
yes. But it's Colonel Sarah who is delivering the injection. She's like, "So, how was your first mission?" "Oh, it was it was good. It was like I imagined, and also more. Yeah, the food was really good, and I got to see Arisa." Wait, you saw Arisa? I'm sorry, what? Kyle, why didn't you report this to me? Kyle.
Hey, Kyle, you want to go back to being Private Kyle? Because majors don't do this.
Damn.
I love the panel of her coming to confront him because she just has the most like I am restraining every urge I have to murder you toothy smile, and yet her speech bubbles are still being punctuated with little hearts. And it's so menacing. Listen, you are gonna go and get Arisa for real this time, and I am gonna come along so you don't do another little cover up. Does that sound good? No, that does not sound good. Well, too bad. It's either that or I tell the higher ups. And then, as if sensing that the end of the line is coming, the crazy food truckers get a lot more melancholic for this particular drive.
Well, it's because Gordon is now concerned about Arissa's health. So
Mhm.
the breakfast they have is miso soup because that's good for you. Also because they're out of ingredients. And the trip they're going on is, hey, if we drive out to it's like Miami Island, I think.
Miyajima, but they're going there because they want to see the ocean. It's the sea is supposed to still be there, and Arisa's like, "Oh, the sea sounds like it's full of really tasty things. Let's go." I mean, that was the plan, but you don't have your super regeneration anymore, and I'm concerned for you. I don't want to see you, continue to wither like this. From where we are, if you go directly north, you'll reach Vault HQ. So we can head that way and get you fixed up. If you just turn yourself in, they shouldn't kill you. And where are you going? And she gets out of the truck and hops up onto the roof and gazes up at the moon. And I'm like, same.
Yeah, it's really sweet because what she says is if I go back, they're going to keep me. And if I have to spend a life away from you, I'd rather have a short one with you.
Mhm.
Aww.
Being hurt, her injury is not instantly healing. That's fine. Being away from him would not be okay.
Well, she already knows that, except for possibly Kyle. No one else can freaking cook, so.
So you're saying you want to eat my cooking till you die? Yes. And he's like, all right. Well, can't argue with that. Let's make sandwiches.
They make BLTs and pancakes.
Yep. But then it's them making food. Next page cuts to the sun rising up. Arisa very obviously naked under a blanket. And I'm like, did they
Sam,
bone? Or...
Sam.
Sam, did you miss the
Sam,
funnel?
Keep your chronology in check because this is not where they boned.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
The boning happens next.
All right. Look at Sam. Yeah.
They don't bone now. They bone in a much more awkward chapter.
Yes.
It is significantly more awkward than that. Because
They have that romantic moonlight talk, and then the next day dawns, and Arissa's naked under a blanket.
She's always naked. That doesn't mean anything.
Exactly. But the way it's framed.
yeah, and well, I mean, she's always naked. That doesn't mean anything.
Because do they make BLTs again?
Yeah, BLTs come up quite frequently, which they should, because BLTs, at least, for me, I usually make if I don't have too much other proteins lying around. So I'm like, bacon. Yeah.
But they have their breakfast, and that's their breakfast and miso soup, and that's when the helicopter with the Vault squad, now including Colonel Sarah, shows up, and it looks like it's going to be this really long, extended chase sequence, and then Gordon's just like, nah, activate the AA gun. And only because of Mina taking the controls do they not get directly hit. So instead it just shoots off one of the propeller blades, making them crash, which everyone survives, instead of the entire vehicle just getting atomized.
Obliterated.
Oh, hey, Sarah, you're looking good.
Sarah always looks good.
Hi, General, you're looking good for a dead man. Oh, hey, Kyle, you were in there too. Are you serious?
Mm-hmm.
Please think these chases through more, both of you.
But I thought this was pretty funny because this continues the backstory flashback where it's like, yes, the battle that they cannot possibly win, and it's them at the end. They won.
And then they go back to the room and they're like, General, you're going to be promoted to a dead man. Oh, those are assassins. Shoot him in the back of the head. Hey, General, you're going to be a Supreme Commander. I don't want to be Supreme Commander. Well, what if we just say these assassins killed you? That sounds cool.
I'm gonna go now.
I'm going to go become a cook.
Oh, man. That's really cool.
Mm-hmm. I really like how they... it specifically, it is the members of the Black Scorpion squad that have already appeared because it's Dylan, Kyle, and Sarah. And they're all like, yeah, we'll help you with this scheme. Where are the other two? They're not here. They're on a mission.
Their backstories got cut.
I love because they do like this cute thing where they've built him the food truck and he's just like, hey, what's everyone's favorite meals? I love curry rice. I love a Hamburg steak. I love pasta. Pasta Neapolitan.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just like, okay, I've made a dish that's all of your favorite foods combined. That's great. And they're just like, I wish the other two were here for this.
Yep. I call it the Sodom Burger because yeah. Oh, it's called that because the desperate final battle was the Battle of Sodom.
It's also called that because it's so sinfully delicious.
Yes.
Yeah. On top of that, none of these things should all be combined together.
They imply so heavily that the actual battle is what's being referred to in the backstory, and it's not. It's moderately important to the background.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess I'll see you all on the other side then. And then immediately cuts back to the present where Sarah's like, screw that, see you on the other side, we're still in the same life.
Also, can I just say, they all look great for 18 years later.
3 years.
Probably more. What?
3 years.
That literally can't be.
That's what Sarah says. She says it's barely been 3 years.
Yeah, she does say that, which means that the doll project has been going on before.
But it can't. It started when she took control.
Damn
it.
But no, this is where we get the part where Gordon must be some kind of face blind because Sarah like grabs the side of his head, pulls him in, and is just like, have you ever taken a good look at my face, General? And he's like,
I love the implications of this scene because he is looking and there's a split of him slowly realizing she looks identical to Arisa.
Mm-hmm.
It's long because everyone else in the background, their reaction is like, are you freaking serious?
and he literally did not even think of it until right now. He's like, you're right. She does look identical to you. Well, the next chapter is going to happen now.
Honestly, to me, this is where I was saying there's sort of a feeling that because of the Black Scorpion squad, because they know each other so well, there's like a level of, it's probably some, nonsense that they're up to. I'm not going to pay attention to it because all four of them do it to each other.
But she's like, yes, after the Day of Sodom, I was put in charge of the Doll Project, where enhanced superhumans were created from my cells. And Arisa is one of the doll prototypes.
I guess what this is implying is that they'd already had this project based on her, and they were like, yeah, no, we'll just promote you to head of it.
Yeah.
That is the only way the timeline makes sense.
Exactly, because
I'm willing to buy it.
Mina is very definitely, she's like, I'm 8.
No, yeah, Mina has a confirmed age to the month, so
which is also before the Day of Sodom was supposed to have happened 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
she's on an
Yes.
accelerated learning program.
Accelerated learning program. She's literally saying,
That
I'm
wouldn't
8.
That wouldn't change your perception of time, unless they have hyperbolic time chambers in there. Which, considering the extra special super government is called Xeno, maybe aliens. Maybe they do have hyperbolic time chambers.
The answer to everything is just aliens.
Oh yeah, because the takeaway from the backstory is that Vold is, or maybe not even Vold. The super government they're a part of is constantly assassinating the heads of the other factions in the super government they're a part of.
Yeah, there's lots of interscene violence. Yes, unless the dolls get a regular injection of the activated cells that are taken from me, then their already short lifespans will degenerate even further. And Gordon's like, and then Arisa walks up and is like, hey, Gordon, I'm hungry. You know what? Me too.
We're gonna leave now. And then they make BLTs.
Gordon, did you not hear what I just said? She's gonna die. Look, Sarah, there's more to life than just avoiding death. Sometimes you gotta live a little crazy. And they're like, who even is this guy?
What the fuck could that possibly mean?
Yes. Chapter 15, BLT sandwiches, one more time.
So the big takeaway is the beginning of this chapter is actually Sarah going to the head of her organization, which is either Vold or not Vold. That part isn't super clear. But she's on a tribunal for allowing one of the dolls to get away.
Mm-hmm. Specifically Arisa, who they say is the project's pillar, and that it has been 35 days since her escape. Time has no meaning.
Yeah, sure. And because of that, they have escalated this, and they're going to give it to Xeno to go reclaim them. And yeah, chapter 15 happens, which is it starts with allowing Arisa to drive, which was a terrible mistake. And they've made it to the island, and they see one of the Torii gates and a bunch of deer skeletons, which they say deer are an extinct animal, except these skeletons are the size of buses.
They're huge. Which is terrifying.
I want a bus-sized Sika.
Yeah, probably.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
So,
but I do,
No, Jay, he does.
Do you know how fluffy their heads are? I want to give them scritches.
Good luck with that. Your scritches are never going to be enough. They're too big and too demanding.
Speaking of never being enough and being too demanding, they start making BLTs.
Yeah, they sure do start making BLTs.
And we've been dancing around this, but literally what happens in this insane story. They are making the BLTs. They are both enjoying the BLTs. Arisa has eaten all of her BLTs and then goes, I'm still hungry. It's not fair that you still have BLT remaining. Share. She then proceeds to straddle Gordon and bite the BLT out of his mouth. And then, after finishing the BLT, he says the lines. Hold on, I gotta quote this because this is insane. Good grief, you're one insatiable woman. It's all gone. That was my sandwich. And then they start making out and presumably.
Well, considering the next time we see them, they are both naked watching the tide come in.
It is off screen, but it definitely happened.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because they also hold hands and say, I love you.
Yep.
And I'm of two minds of this.
Me too, because this caught me so off guard because the entire time I was thinking like adopted daughter, like parental bond.
Yeah, I got strong Daru vibes from all of this. The
at all.
The degree to which they had been chibi-ifying her, like, and again, like the whole like there wasn't like a lot of sexualization of her constantly being naked. Like, I want to give her head pats. Like, she's cute.
I will admit there was like not knee jerk. There was I will acknowledge there's a whiplash here with how this is going. I'm also of the mind though that it's clear they were building a romantic tension between them, like especially with like the I'm dying and that is a person who loves my food kind of deal. I'm just chalking it up to the manga did not have enough time to actually build out the romance subplot.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
and here's the thing for me. When I got to the part where it turns, it was very much a case where it's like, oh, I didn't see that coming. This is a little weird, but yeah, I buy this. Like it's not like so out of place that it like feels like a mistake or anything. It's just it's surprising. It's very quick, and I don't know what the production history of this manga was, but I have a feeling that there was more planned. Eye patch guy.
There were two arcs clearly cut.
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of felt that it was kind of like the two of them against the world kind of thing. And so that was where my mind was at, you know, kind of like Wild West.
Oh, this goes very Bonnie and Clyde very fast.
I was about to say, this turns into James Bond. Is literally like, my, what an insatiable woman you are. You ready to have a gunfight? Because,
it caught me by surprise. I don't think it was bad or like the wrong choice to make writing wise. I was just like, wait a minute. But yeah, then The Price of Freedom starts playing because while they are once again basking in the afterglow, except for real this time, watching the tide roll in under this beautiful moonlit night, suddenly fully surrounded by military guys.
I do appreciate that the sea they found is only like a foot deep of water.
Yes, well, that's because it creates the endless reflected water plane that you have to have. Which I have my biases. I love that. This was awesome.
Also, insane how much better funded Xeno is than Vold because they've got literally like 10 tanks here.
They have like an entire armored line. They've got numerous trucks. They've got like a dozen helicopters, rows of dudes.
Also, I'm not like a military strategist or anything. I don't think you're supposed to surround someone with tanks.
No.
That seems like a bad idea.
No. Not unless you have some guys who are expendable.
We have you surrounded, at least from this side.
And you know we would not realistically fire because we'd be literally killing our other half of our forces. But, you know, this is a manga. We can do what we want.
I also love the implication that they had sex so hard, they didn't hear an approaching army.
Yeah.
Hey, do you feel rocking? I feel rocking, all right.
Ew! Why?
Look, he's old and presumably very experienced, and she's a super soldier with lots of energy.
Fair.
God, what's wrong?
Oh, I'm sorry, Jay. Now you're uncomfortable with the romance, and we're wrong?
Yes.
You know what? Fair.
So,
now we got to get to the Doctor Strangelove reference.
Yeah, I do appreciate the like full panel of Gordon tying his bandana back on, completely naked. And apparently, when Gordon's naked, he is jacked.
Yeah, he's buff, man.
Yeah, and he's just like, we're gonna cook all of these guys.
He is so ready to go. It is awesome. It's like refractory period. All this impending violence.
Oh, and I'm like, dear reader, you're now noticing we're on the final chapter. How are they going to wrap this up in one chapter?
Mostly by not.
Explosions.
Explosions, not wearing clothes. They're just everything you could possibly want.
Yep. Friggin', it's your life. I'm gonna let you live it free. And the truck flashes, let's rock!
And we get our Doctor Strangelove reference.
Arisa jumps out of the car to straddle the cannon that they fire at the enemy.
Butt-ass naked.
Of course.
It is awesome. I love this last chapter.
Oh my god. The crazy food truck, instead of headlights, has machine guns. Like, it is just mowing down endless people. They're about to be killed by an attack helicopter coming in them. Like, oh no. And then Arisa smells Mina, and what happened is they jump a jeep into the helicopter.
Yeah, cutting it in half. I don't even know how they did that.
And then there's just an entire page of just Gordon, Kyle, Arisa, and Mina just looking at each other, and all their eyes take up panels for no reason.
And this is where I'm like, wait a minute. Is Kyle Gordon's son? Because he's got the exact same eyes Gordon does. Like how the eyes were the way to tell that Mina, Arisa, and Sarah were all related.
Yeah, they do have identical eyes now that you're mentioning it.
Is it possible that you can only draw so many eyes and they just start to look alike?
See, that's what I thought when Sarah and Arisa looked like each other, and then I was told I was an idiot. So
They draw so much attention to the eyes being critical to pointing out who's related to who.
The connection, yeah.
Alternatively, Kyle might also be a doll because he's also got some like BS superpowers as he goes full Zack and just draws a sword to face down an army.
Nah, he's just Gordon's son. Is it
Probably.
superpowers or is he just descended from greatness? I don't know.
I love how there's multiple panels dedicated to making Kyle look badass with his jacket off and his katana drawn, and then just Tanaka walks in all chibi-fied with a gun going like, I'm here too, Major. Hey, is this treason? Yeah, it's treason, but I'd rather live free. And then Sarah comes and starts shooting people with a handgun.
No, it's even better. Sarah takes over a helicopter by hijacking it and shooting a guy with a handgun, and then she flies the helicopter sideways through the infantry line so the blades chop dudes up.
With the most crazy fucking look on her face.
I love it.
And then we cut to Gordon, who is in the crazy food truck with Arisa, and they made it out.
Mm-hmm. By all appearances.
Yeah, and he's just asking her, "Hey, I can tell you're hungry. What do you want to eat? BLT sandwich, maybe some pancakes." And they just start listing all the things they've made, and he's just like, "You know what could really go for? Omelet rice." And she's like, "Oh, I've never had that before." And then he's just describing exactly how you make it. And then a missile comes and hits the back of the car, and he's just like holding her hand and continues explaining how you make omelet rice as fire just engulfs, and you're like, oh my god, crazy food truck, don't go here.
I was choking up so bad, man.
It's just him explaining to her how the finished dish would be and how good.
The taste will have you so happy you could melt as the truck is engulfed in flames.
And then, because this is an action movie, a group of soldiers are now holding their guns up against the flaming wreckage of the truck. And of course, because it's an action movie, Arisa and Gordon step out from the flaming wreckage.
Mm-hmm. Looking badass as hell. But, it's like, hey, fellas, you hungry? Here's some soup. And he tips over the soup and grenades roll out. Ah, wait, it's not finished. Let me nuke it in the microwave. The microwave's a missile launcher.
And he kills a bunch of them. It's like, that was our last hurrah. And Arisa's like, what? And then the panel goes out to see they are surrounded by hundreds of people.
I don't think we're getting out of this one. So, hey, before we go out, Arisa, out of everything I've cooked for you, what tasted the best? And she says she loved all of it. All of his cooking.
And then we get this lovely page where it's the gunman aiming at them. It's the two of them looking at each other, and it's just her saying to him, thanks for the food. And then the muzzle flash of them shooting them. And then the final page is just them getting shot and splattered as fire erupts and they're kissing. But it's like the shadow of them.
It's all in silhouette. And God,
I teared up.
It's way more impactful than I thought this manga was going to give me. Then we cut to 5 years later in Blue Lake City that appears to have rebuilt amazingly.
Yeah. Paved roads, cars, telephone poles are up.
Yeah.
and there's a food truck where people are getting BLT sandwiches. And you're like, oh, did they make it? Nope. It's Mina and Kyle and Tanaka.
Kyle.
Mina, now 13, is dressed exactly like
Arisa.
yeah.
Mhm.
And Kyle is dressed. He wishes he looked exactly like Gordon.
He's got his crappy little peach fuzz goatee.
I'm gonna say
Dork.
we've skimmed this so far, but like, dude, if you're gonna be living with a 13-year-old girl, you can't look like that. Like he looks like a child molester.
Yeah, it's not a great look.
Also, Tanaka's there, who's also wearing a
Gordon
Hawaiian
outfit.
shirt. Yep.
Mhm.
It's for the brand.
Yep.
Yeah, the brand of Arisa and Gordon's.
A chain of food trucks run by the military. Also, other people have cars.
Mhm. Well, it's not run by the military because they committed treason. They left the military.
We have no way to know that.
Well, when Tanaka calls him Major, he says, "Quit calling me that. I've been a cook for 5 years now."
Yeah, because they ended all government in that giant final blowout.
Canceled.
They canceled the government.
That's crazy food truck. It sure was.
It sure did happen.
It sure was crazy and about a food truck.
The price of freedom sure is steep. Anyway, so favorite character and well, given the source material, favorite dish. I'm not gonna lie. For as much of a goober he is, I love Kyle. I think it's because he's such a goober. He's a complete freaking nerd. He tries so hard to be cool. He pulls it off maybe for half a panel at the very end. And he's fun. And for the favorite dish, I did praise the fried chicken earlier, but man, that seafood curry, I want that. That looks so good. Matt, how about you? Favorite character and favorite dish?
Oh man, I gotta go with Gordon. Gordon is just he's done with fighting. He just wants to like cook for people, and then all these people just keep wanting him to keep fighting.
Mm-hmm. His entire character could be summed up with, as soon as I was out, they pulled me right back in.
Oh man, and favorite dish. So I mentioned the fried chicken earlier. I think it does look the best, but I gotta go with that that pork katsu sandwich. Looked delicious,
Ooh, yeah.
and a taste of regret, which is the best flavoring.
All right, Jay, how about you?
Easily Arisa. She is my spirit animal. Second shout out to Kyle because I just like memeing on Kyle. Favorite dish. So I know I mentioned the squid burger, but I have to hand it to the pork steak. That just looked so juicy and delicious. And the way it was cooked is also just amazing. So yes.
All right, and Jacob, favorite character and favorite dish.
In all honesty, I think Sarah's probably my favorite. I loved pretty much the entire cast, but I don't know. Sarah managed somehow to be simultaneously a serious character in a comedy manga and also a funny character in a comedy manga in some cases at the same time, and I really appreciate that. I'll say runner-up is Eye Patch Guy. Why was he so heavily characterized in the quarter of a scene he was? I know the answer to the question, but why?
Those two flashback guys who they were like, I don't know how to make a food for 5 people. Let's just have 3 of them.
Yep. All right, and I know you don't understand why we humans have a need for food, but favorite dish?
Oh right, there was food in this story. The bacon sandwich.
It looked good.
Kyle's plain bacon sandwich.
Yes.
Of course.
It involved bacon. I like bacon. Bacon is a food that I've eaten before.
All right, so normally this is where we'd say, would you continue reading? But that was the whole manga. So thoughts on the story? I guess in conclusion, I really, really enjoyed this. If there was more, I would absolutely continue to read it just because, great road trip vibes, really, really enjoyable dynamic between the two main characters. And yeah, we said it before. The 3 out of 4 hosts agree. The romance could have used some more time to cook. So let him cook. All right. Reverse order. How about you, Jake?
So yeah, I feel a similar sentiment that if there was more, I'd definitely continue reading. And in all honesty, I kind of want to see more of this world. There are a lot of problems with the nuts and bolts world building and timeline elements, but I do feel like a lot of that had to do with the fact that there was clearly meant to be more, which gives me the impression that it was rushed, and the rushing is where a lot of like the timeline incongruities come from. That there's a more complete version, because man, like it's on pure vibes, but like the world building in this manga is so interesting. I want to spend more time in this world, you know? And the characters that inhabit it are great in their own right. So I mean, like if this got like a remake that, you know, fleshed out the story a little bit, or perhaps a sequel series or something like that, I'd be all about checking that out.
All right. Jay, how about you?
So, as you've already said, probably the romance, I agree, could have been developed a little bit more. But I'm really interested about, again, familiarizing myself more so with this new post-apocalyptic world. The creature, it could just be because I'm really interested about the different mutations about the creatures out there, but I wanted to know, more encounters with creatures, food ingredients aside, what else does this world kind of look like? Also for me, I was a little interested more in the development of like what the government structure kind of was. So that's kind of where I was just like, so is this, there are obviously there are different states. The majority of states have acquiesced to, I want to say Vlad, but Vald. Um, so I'm just kind of like I mentioned before, it's really interesting that, Gordon had this map, but we don't even know what this world really looks like or what the structuring is, or aside from the water scarcity, like what their primary motivation really is so that just world building, I guess, is what I would like to see more of.
You're saying the government structure in this series was a bit undercooked?
Yes, it is a bit undercooked. I prefer mine a little more well done.
All right. And Matt.
Oh man, I would love to read more of this if it existed, but I also kind of have the other point. I think I like how short it was. I think it
Yeah.
fits the real good road trip vibe of just a bunch of cool destinations and then wrapping up the plot. It creates a nice, succinct little story that I think I would really love if this was just turned into like a feature length movie. I think it's the perfect length for it. It gives you just a nice little touch of the world. You get to have like the montage of them doing a bunch of little fun things. Just a nice like 2-hour anime movie. Perfect.
Yeah. This would be a great movie.
Because the mangaka said it himself that the goal for this was to create like a road trip movie. Like something that just feels good, experiencing a journey with the characters as you sit comfortably as they're having an adventure. And like that's exactly how I read this. This was just cool vibes of discovering new things. The world building wasn't really there, but that's also not the point.
It was there to be cool. Also, I really liked from about the author that his pen name is meant to be rock and roll. Rokurou Ogaki. And yeah, thank you everyone once again for tuning into the Over Manga Cast. As always, you can find us on all your social medias where we are at Over Manga Cast, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
You can also find us on YouTube where you can like, comment, and subscribe. The episodes go up there on a 2-week delay. So if you want to keep up to date, we also have overmangacast.com, which also has a feature for commenting on individual episodes.
We also appreciate reviews and recommendations in any and all forms. You can reach out to us over mangacast@gmail.com. Tell us a series you'd like us to read, or just, tell us we're awesome. Give us 5 stars. We deserve it. Come on. We do. Come on. Do it.
Do it. And make sure to tune in next time where I guess the theme of cooking will continue with The Devil is a Part-Timer, chapters 1 through 11. Isekai nonsense, but with McDonald's. All right.
Delightful.
So read that if you're keeping up with the show, and we'll catch you all next week. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Hey, I'd like to order one shrimp burger.
We're at a shrimp burger. You have squid.
I mean, does it
Always
go good with
squid.
beer?
Oh, yeah.
Do you sell beer?
No.
Oh, well, I guess I'm just going to wait for the next food truck.